Hi everyone, welcome back to another week of Relationship Tips with Jen. I'm Jen, your licensed marriage and family therapist, giving you tips about your relationship and yourself. And today's big topic is something that comes up all the time with people, with clients, just in general. It's all about secrets versus privacy. So the question is, when should we keep something secret versus when should that same thing be told to somebody? A lot of people believe that if you're in a trusting and romantic relationship, then you should just tell your partner absolutely everything. But how much is too much? When should you be disclosing certain information? And when are you allowed to have some information to be kept to yourself? So I'm going to, again, tell you a little bit about secrets versus privacy, what their meanings are, how to place them in each category and distinguish between each of them, and then what to do with them. Okay, first let's talk about secrets. Secrets are things that you know are against the rules of your relationship. They're things that you and your partner have overtly discussed as not being okay, and if your partner did something that went against these rules, then that would cause harm or damage to the relationship. So a person can tell if they're keeping something secret if they basically fear the repercussions of disclosing whatever this information is. So perhaps their partner will feel really betrayed after learning that information. Or maybe there's some personal shame that's associated with whatever it is that you don't want to say. Either way, keeping a secret is very, very harmful. And if your gut is telling you that you're hiding something and that this information should probably be disclosed to your partner, then again, it probably should be. Secrets could also be something that is covertly assumed between partners. So sometimes people get together in relationships and they don't openly talk about what the rules of their relationship are. Some people do, which is awesome. I encourage everyone to do that. But if you don't, they're rules that are sort of assumed as well. So sometimes people will go into a relationship and they'll assume that if you have sex with another person, then that's breaking the rules and it's a secret that ought to be told. If that's the case and you go into this relationship and you kind of know it's a rule, but you haven't openly discussed it, it is a rule. And if you keep it to yourself, it's a secret and that's bad. Now let's talk about privacy. Private information in your relationship means that you're aware that if your partner knew this information, that they would actually be okay with it, but for whatever reason, you just don't want to tell them because it's something personal to you. So private information is actually not harmful, so it's the opposite of the harmfulness of secrets. Things that are kept private are actually accepted in your relationship. And sometimes people don't want to share private information because it's personal, or maybe it might feel embarrassing, and so you don't want to disclose it. Or maybe this information is not important to the relationship at all, not related whatsoever, therefore, there's really no point in telling it. The best way to determine if something is private is by asking yourself, is my partner going to be affected by this information? And are they going to feel negatively if they were to know this information? So that's the trick. Would my partner feel negatively if they were to know this information? If your answer is no, then go ahead and keep that information private. If your answer is yes, then again, you sort of want to ask yourself, well then, is this a secret? Is this a rule that I'm breaking? Or is this just something that is personal to me that for, again, whatever reason, I don't feel like telling my partner? So it's clearly important to understand the difference between secrets and privacy in your relationship. And the best way to truly know if something falls under a specific category is to just ask your partner. And honestly, ask them at the very beginning of the relationship when you first begin dating. Say, what are your values? What are your rules in the relationship? What are things that we can and cannot do? Just be as direct as possible. Most people make most people mistake secrets for privacy when they actually assume that their partner is on the same page without having had that conversation beforehand. So for example, don't cheat is not the same as don't flirt, don't text, don't fall in love. And if you're having trouble coming up with rules, then ask for help. It is never an excuse to say, I didn't know that you wanted to be told this information, or I thought this was allowed. If you did something and then your partner disapproves or feels hurt or feels rejected or lied to or whatever, sort of not taking ownership over it and then blaming the other person for saying, well, you didn't tell me, that's not an excuse. Have the open conversation beforehand. That way you don't get into a trap later on and you both feel totally comfortable and trust one another and have an open, honest relationship with privacy and without secrets. All right, so that's it for today. Thanks so much for watching this week's video on secrets versus privacy. As always, it was great talking to you, and if you have any questions for me, feel free to comment below, like these videos, and I'll see you next time. Bye.